And now reaction to the Eric Garner grand jury decision from the police perspective. My next guest is a police officer in Flint, Michigan. It's a city with a black population of over 50%. And he's also the pastor of the Charity United Methodist Church. He's author of the book, Soul of a Black Cop. Brian Willingham joins me now. Brian, great having you here. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, Governor. It's an honor to be here.
I want to get right to letting you react to my previous guest, Ellie Mistel, very passionate and very articulate. But do you believe that people ought to be afraid of cops? You're a cop. Should people be afraid of you in your community or any other community?
Well, listening to what Ellie had to say, and when we put it in the context of the Garner decision, when you have that video that the whole world sees of a police officer employing a illegal tactic and taking the life of a citizen, then it should be a very clear case where there should be an indictment, in my opinion, and I agree with him.
But I think what we maybe are wondering, was that a racial issue or was it just bad policing on the part of the cop who brought him down?
Well, sometimes it matters very little whether it's racial or not. It's the police have power, and so you're looking at the power of the government acting against a citizen, whether the police officer be white or black. The police officer is an agent of the government, and if he has his arms around the neck of a citizen and takes his life, then it's an agent of the government that did it, whether it's a white or black person. Doesn't matter.
We didn't get a chance to talk about, but one of the things in Ellie's article that he brought out was his concern that cops are sometimes more interested in protecting each other than they are protecting the public. It's a criticism that's tossed at police officers. Is it a fair criticism?
I think it's fair. There has long been known that there is a thing called the blue wall of silence within police ranks, and that also police officers work in a very political environment in which if you speak out against certain activities regarding the police, there could be retribution within the ranks for doing it, and so I think that's why most people will tend to shy away from it. Most police officers will tend to shy away from that type of activity.
Brian, let's talk about some of the things that could be helpful, because I don't think anybody likes the consequences of what happened in the Garner case. I can't imagine anybody seeing that tape and not being horrified by it. Didn't matter whether the guy was white or black. I mean, it just is unsettling to watch. What can we learn? What should we be doing as a society, a culture, a community to better bridge between cops and citizens, between blacks and whites? Give us some thoughts there.
Well, one, there has to be accountability equally, I think, for all people. Again, we look at the Garner situation, and I think there's a blatant evidence of misconduct by the police. In the other case of the Ferguson case, I felt that the young black man made certain decisions that brought about the circumstances that ended in his life being taken. And so I think we have to have accountability on all sides, from police and from citizens, to heal this divide.
So you see a big difference between what happened in Staten Island with the Garner case versus Ferguson and Michael Brown?
I do see a difference. And again, I think there's some denial on both sides of the fence. Some whites may deny racism by the part of the police. And I think with the Ferguson case, there's some denial in the black community that we have a problem sometimes in inner cities with young black males who are out of control and create negative circumstances. And so if we could maybe deal with that denial on both sides of the fence in America, then perhaps we could come to a point of healing.
Well, Brian, I hope we can do it. I really appreciate your unique perspective, and a genuine delight to have you here today. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, two more Americans, a teacher and a journalist, have been killed by Muslim extremists this week. Can we put a stop to these brutal killings anytime soon? The battle against radical Islamists, we'll talk about it next.